Welcome, everybody, to the American Space Museum. I'm Marquette. We're so glad you're with us today to stay curious with a very special guest, Carolyn Schumacher. Carolyn, welcome to our set
Hi.
here. So happy that you came here. Carolyn is as you see on the bottom, president and CEO of the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation, though she doesn't look that old in there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we've got a beautiful tie together that we'll talk about here in a second. Where I grew up is where she went to college. But Carolyn's just so happy that you got a chance to come here. I know this is a super busy month for you because you're going to induct two beautiful people as astronauts into the Hall of Fame. So you've been busy. How things going this week?
So actually, I will tell you, this is a great time to come out. So yes, we are very busy with event logistics. It is a crazy time of year, but it is kind of a well-oiled machine at this point with the event piece of it. And we're just really looking forward to the celebration, and it's more like a family reunion when we get together. But I've honestly been just screaming busy since the start of the year because we were finishing out astronaut scholar award ceremonies across the
Mm-hmm.
country. We try to hit as many campuses as we can to celebrate our scholars on campus in front of their peers, bring an astronaut speaker, celebrate our sponsors as well that sponsor those scholarships, and then just doing some business development, visiting potential sponsors, learning a little bit more about the life sciences industry because we do get quite a few STEM students in that area too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been nonstop. So this has actually been the perfect time.
Well,
So yeah,
good. Well, I'm
so
glad.
great
Glad.
timing.
Well, the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation there, if you don't know, founded by the Mercury astronauts. We're going to talk about that. They've given away about $8 million in scholarships at almost 50 universities, and you guys are the horses out there, forefront with your astronauts that are so involved. I count over 30, maybe 50 astronauts or
Oh yeah.
want to be involved in this. It probably comes and goes as their time opens up for things, but you're going to learn a lot about that, and we're going to honor the two inductees for the 2024 class of the Hall of Fame that's beautifully displayed out there at Kenny's Visitors Complex. And I'm trying to bring us up here on Facebook here to get my. So you may have to help me, Marty, because I'm trying to there we
What you
are.
doing?
There we
We're gonna
there
watch
we go.
ourselves.
Well, we have people all over the world watching us, Caroline. Like Robert Law is
Very
up in Dundee,
exciting.
Scotland, pouring his cocktail for the evening. I
Oh,
bet.
oh, it's 5 o'clock
And
somewhere.
Chris Callie is watching and saying, what's that piece of artwork?" Yep, that's Chris Callie's beautiful shuttle montage. That's just a piece of it there, Chris. Of course, we wanted to make sure we
That's
had
one
the
of my
Mercury
favorite pieces
astronauts
too.
below there. We'll show a little bit more of that right here. There we go, up there. And he's always using the Mercury Legacy up there because his dad is a Mercury Legacy artist.
Yeah.
Did Gordon Cooper's launch, which is May 15th, 61 years ago. All right. And they're going to launch another atlas on May 17th after that date to juxtapose 6 decades where Gordon Cooper wrote an Atlas 2 to space. This Atlas 5 is going to be right near that celebration. And that's what we love doing here
Yeah.
at Caroline is
Celebrate.
keeping the memory alive, but juxtaposing today with the awesome history of the past there. So
It's
uh,
important.
William Whiting's on board. Hello, William. Glad that you're on board here. And let's talk a little bit about. I want to put up there your pretty picture up there. We advertised everything.
That's actually one of my least favorite photos, but that's okay.
Well, you
That's
need to tell your web designer that.
I need a better headshot first. It's a bad to use one from when I was 12. So.
800 student scholarships, and we'll let you talk here in a minute about how important that was to these astronauts. There's your logo, which always includes created by the Mercury 7. Let me make that big. That's a nice logo for your 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
I got my T-shirt on here that founded
Same.
there. You're wearing your
I've
colors
got, yeah,
there.
I've got my Mercury 7 stacked names shirt. Yeah.
You do.
From
Awesome.
one of my monthly. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Here, I'll be back.
That's so awesome that you keep that dream alive because they were my heroes up there. I mean, really, they were on my wall there in Findlay, Ohio, where I grew up. But I think this is what an appropriate 40th anniversary with the astronaut pin there in the middle, the famous, iconic going to space with the star there. Whoever did that, I'll bet you're pleased with that.
Oh yeah, no, I inherited that. I don't get to take any credit for the
Can we
star.
still come? Is it sold out?
Oh,
The scholarship.
no, we're not sold out for
Okay.
the Astronaut Hall of Fame event.
Yes.
Nope, we have tickets on all levels still left. So, and we have tickets to the cocktail challenge as well.
Tom Celentano said good afternoon. He's up in Hartford, Connecticut.
Well, good afternoon, Tom.
Says I'm glad to be a contributor to ASF.
Thank you.
Celentano is that, and Doug Forrest. You guys know Doug, I think. He's an artist out in Los Angeles. Hello, everybody. Hi, Doug. With 2 R's in Forrest. He does some pen and ink.
Okay, I'm going to take a note. 2 R's in Forrest.
Yeah, there you go. But yes, you can still go to their website. There, you can get the whole package of everything for $1,400.
It's going to be cool too.
Yeah,
there's a little surprise. There's the whole big package has a really. We kick off with a brunch with Joan Higginbotham on Thursday morning, which is going to be lovely. And then we will reveal to the Supernova ticket holders where they're going on a tour.
Oh, right. So you got a special tour.
That's all I can say. And then
you had an awesome tour that I participated in honoring the Apollo astronauts on January 27th last year, where we went out to the beach and all out there. Didn't we do that?
I wasn't. No.
Okay.
Might be before my time. Could be BC before Caroline.
All right.
That happens sometimes.
BC. Okay.
Yeah.
BC before Caroline.
Year.
Huh?
Last year.
Maybe that was another organization. That might have been the other.
It's okay.
That might have been the other organization.
I don't know what the other organization is, but good job for them.
Actually, I think it was. It was Julia Barney at the Memorial Foundation.
Oh, they do great work.
Yeah. They had. I got that confused after.
No, AMF does good stuff. AMF, ASF, they're before us in the alphabet. It's all cool.
We got. Well, there you go, and out there. So yes, you can still get tickets. I contribute what I can, and so I'm going to the cocktail challenge we'll talk about,
which happens to be probably one of the most fun nights of the entire year.
Several astronauts make cocktails. They're judged by other astronauts and people in the crowd at Zarella's one and only pizza fired restaurant up there. So hey, John and Mike up there, his son Mike runs it. So.
They do a great job too.
They do.
The food is great.
They do.
Yeah, great service.
Carlton Bailey says, hi, Caroline. Thanks for all the ASF has done over the years.
Thank you.
Giving me so many personal memories. And Steve Jokums, he has a decal on model business up in Lake County Spaceport on the shores of Lake Michigan. And he was on our show in the Shuttle Fest a couple of weeks ago. And he says hi to everybody here in the Stay Curious gang. Thank you, Steve. Hope you enjoyed the Miami Formula One race as much as I did. The whole weekend was awesome. And I'm going to go next year down on the Bright Line for the F1 race. I'm definitely going to do that. So not many F1 fans out there, but they're the greatest drivers in the world.
Yeah, some of our other space typical attendees at our event, they went down.
Yeah, good. Well, I'm reading off here. Here are our inductees. Okay, we've got David Hilmers on the left there, Marcia Ivins. We're going to thumbnail sketch them a little bit. I think there's the other artwork that I found. It's got, David has 4 missions to space, and Marcia 5.
Yep.
And they're, they both, David was on 2 Department of Defense
DoD
missions.
So
he did something there.
Talk about 2 of them.
Yeah, he did something there that really qualifies me. It's so strange that some of these astronauts say, I read all about my mission in a book, but I can't even talk about it on there. So, but have you been around either one of those astronauts? I have not.
So I have not. I have spoken with Marcia. She's lovely, extremely just gracious and professional. Dave and I actually did some work together during COVID. We were talking a little bit about this prior to getting on the show, but it was such a weird time that we couldn't be in person. So we did a lot of the online outreach as well. And he did 2 presentations while he was quarantining in Australia for some high school students.
Oh my, wonderful.
It was and so it was really a treat to get to know him. Really neat guy, Marine.
He sounds like a neat guy.
Yeah,
We're going to talk a little more about him here.
Crazy.
Is he a Marine?
Marine.
Hoorah.
Yeah.
Marty's a Marine there. So,
Oh.
want to learn a little bit
Go
about
polar bears.
yourself here?
Go
Yeah.
polar bears.
Want to talk a little bit about where you grew up? You got a pretty decent education there in Hancock County,
Well,
Ohio, where
did.
I grew up.
I don't know how I ended up with a decent education because I was really bound and determined to screw it up. So,
Yeah, is
but
that
I didn't.
right?
I was not an astronaut.
Well, they only had
scholar.
one beer joint in town.
That is
in
true,
there,
but I
that
mean,
pizza place.
I was a
forget the
frequent
name.
flyer
Oh,
of
were
the
you?
beer. The Regal Beagle. Yes.
Regal Beagle there.
Yeah.
And but no, when I was looking up Ohio Northern, I actually, as a reporter on the Courier newspaper, did stories over there and reported on grain futures and so forth. So I thought I'd make you feel a little bit at home there.
That does. You know, our school, we celebrated when I was there, so we won't say how old it is now, but it turned 125 years old the year I graduated, or my junior year. And it was so windy and cold on that campus, we called it the tundra.
Oh, yes.
And I couldn't understand how in 125 years they didn't plant some damn trees.
Really?
Like, I mean, it was just crazy. It was so old. But no,
that's because corn is king there.
But it was
corn,
corn.
soybeans,
And it's known,
wheat. Yeah.
So Ada's known for a couple things.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So there's a cemetery that's split by a road, major highway.
Yes.
And then Ada has the Wilson Football Factory.
That's right. That's right. All of the footballs
there,
are made from there. I did one of the first stories on the newspaper there.
Very cool.
In like 1975.
Yeah.
And yes, all the NFL footballs are made there.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And they literally like tie them up with the leather and everything.
Right off I-75. This is south of Toledo, and Findlay's my hometown. Bowling Green. You must have gone up there on a few trips.
Well, we went to Findlay. I went to Findlay a lot because I had a really good friend that went to Findlay. And you guys had the good restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have anything.
No, you guys
So we had to
didn't
go
have
to
anything.
Findlay and Lima to get decent food. Yeah.
Lima, and then south of Lima is Wapakoneta, where Neil Armstrong grew up. You've been there a few times.
Definitely. I remember when they had the revolving floor.
Oh, yeah,
and you did the moonwalk on the revolving floor.
They had the biggest moon rock in captivity, really. It's a really big moon rock they have.
I haven't been up in years. I think my parents took my kids.
Oh, okay. Well, I always say, and Bill Whiting knows this because he was just there, the best Waffle House in the country is across from the Neil Armstrong Museum there.
Do you rate Waffle House restaurants?
Well, that one I do. It's better than normal.
That's your side gig?
It's a reliable meal on the road.
It is.
Okay.
Scattered, smothered, and covered.
That's right. That's right on there. So we're enjoying a good time with Caroline Schumacher here. She has quite a group of people that are, like you said, a well-oiled machine. That's what we're trying to do here at our with our events, is get them past the framework stage and then get your volunteers plugged in. Yeah, but you find you empower people and they want to do that, don't they?
Exactly right.
Yeah. That's their job. Every scholarship fund or every Hall of Fame to sit at that desk and do whatever you got them to do, and it takes a lot of people to do that. Bert Dick is watching of the NSS.
Big hugs, Bert.
He says, just saying hello. ASF is an amazing organization. I'm proud to be a supporter. And Marky Usiak.
Oh, there's trouble.
I was going to call you, but I didn't have time putting my show together here with
the
this
only guy
VIP.
Hey, Mark is the only guy that's captured good photos of me.
Has he?
Not photogenic at all.
Well, he's going to do that for you at the Hall of Fame this year.
Well, it's because I'm selfish. I want some good photos.
We're getting into your background. Where were you born?
So I was born, I mean, if we're getting technical, I was born in Kettering, Ohio, but I grew up in Tip City.
Okay, Tip City, that's Dayton.
Just north of Dayton. So if we're talking, Toledo, like an hour and a half south of Toledo, just north of Dayton. You blink, you miss the exit to Tip City. Very small town.
And
lots more of those cornfields.
Right. And I know some people that actually lived there, I went to high school with, and I was amazed at the windmills up there. I went a couple years ago. They had windmills all over the place.
Really?
Yeah, around Tip City.
Yeah.
And they had signs that said that were against windmills. And I go, why are you against windmills? Because of the noise. They make a roaring noise in there. So
it's a small town.
Well,
There's a lot they gotta talk about.
You had a wonderful job. I pulled off. We talked about that before. This was your entry job to the nonprofit world, you say.
It was. Yeah.
And what did they do?
Okay.
turned you
So,
on?
do you want me to tell you what they did? Or you want me to tell you how I got there? You
Well,
tell me
sure.
where
Yeah,
you want
we
me
want to
go.
know a little bit about your background. Everybody's curious.
So it's actually very appropriate this time of year. So I can tell you the day I was introduced to Give Kids the World. I was on the Walt Disney World College program. I had a really cool opportunity I was a huge Disney fanatic. In Ohio, you vacation in Michigan. My parents didn't actually bring me south. We went north.
Right.
And I was a big Disney fan. So to be able to work at Disney and get college credits, I felt like I was stealing. But I got to open Animal Kingdom. And while I was on the Walt Disney World College program, they recruited the kids who were sober to come over and volunteer at Give Kids the World Village for a little program they used to have called Parents Night Out. Parents got to go off on a date for the night, and somehow they trusted all of us college kids to pair up with these little ones, the wish child and their siblings. And I had such a moving experience. I really, really did. And it doesn't kind of matter why, but it was so special that I said, gosh, I want to get back down here after I graduate. And the weather is much warmer in Florida than Ohio. But the driving factor, I had two goals in mind: either to work for Disney professionally so that I could still intern, somehow support this organization, or gosh, would they give me a job? And I came down, lived on my brother's couch. I think it was actually a futon. It wasn't even a proper couch.
A futon.
He was a young married guy with a baby. And I would pick up shifts at Disney, and I saw an ad in the newspaper. That dates me.
Yeah.
An ad in the newspaper for a job as a volunteer coordinator at Give Kids the World. And I thought, well, I like old people. I can handle that. Because I just had this vision that all I did was just kind of like welcome some old people in to serve some meals. And so they hired me. Now, Give Kids the World, we were, and I still say we, because, in nonprofit and with every job, do you ever take off a hat? You just keep putting on more hats.
Yeah.
So we were founded in 1986 by a gentleman named Henry Landon, who was a Holocaust survivor, who was dear friends of the Mercury 7, which kind of all leads back to ASF.
That is sweet.
So Henry started Give Kids the World because he was a very successful hotelier. He actually managed the Starlight Inn Motel. Do you know the Starlight Inn Motel?
Yes, right.
That's where all the Mercury astronauts
Right. On A1A.
Yeah, so he was handpicked to manage that hotel.
It's inside the Garden Hilton now, I think, right?
It's just a restaurant over there.
Yeah,
it's a nod, but it's a nod to the history.
Exactly.
And he, fast forward after all of that fun, the Cape and the Mercury launches and the Apollo launches, he owned the first Holiday Inn outside of Walt Disney World. And he had reservations for a little girl that were canceled one day. And he would always provide comp rooms to wish granting foundations that would call him. And you got rollback time. We all know Make-A-Wish is this big household name. Back then, they were just little volunteer-run organizations out of homes, out of basements. And a little girl, her name was Amy, and her reservation was canceled because she passed away before they could get the wish to come true. And he said, well, I can take care of that. That's never going to happen again. And he cleaned out the broom closet of the Holiday Inn, Main Gate East, and they opened Give Kids the World. And he went to Walt Disney World, and he went to SeaWorld, and he went to Mears Transportation, and he said, and we're going to grant these wishes, and we're going to help out all these kids around the country.
Beautiful.
And very quickly, he realized they needed a place to call their own. And in 1989, he opened up Give Kids the World Village, which had like 13 villas. I can tell I haven't worked there in 5 years because I'm probably getting all my facts wrong, but they had a small amount of villas that opened in the beginning. And fast forward to today, there's 168 villas on property. It's an 89-acre resort.
Wow.
And what they do is they partner with 250 wish granting organizations around the globe, and they fulfill that Central Florida wish. So there's kids that come to Disney, Universal, SeaWorld. They get tickets to all those parks. Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex gives them tickets so they can come over there for a day. They stay for a week. Their food and beverage. It's a beautiful food and beverage operation. They have a carousel. They have 2 other rides. They have a little train. And everything's wheelchair accessible. And the whole place, it has a core staff, of course, because it's a resort. But they have 1,800 volunteer shifts a week.
Is that right? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Let's think about what you're talking
huge
about.
Organization. Yeah.
In today's, we're quarter way through the 21st century. So all this you're talking about was at the beginning of this century, and isn't it amazing how people's hearts have opened up more so than 50 years ago even. I mean, there
Oh,
was
for
all
sure.
kinds of things out there, but not like today.
And not in an organized
Yeah,
fashion that doesn't just have a beneficiary. I mean, when it's a nonprofit, that's the whole concept of your business is you know, benefit somebody, but also contributes to the community, provides jobs. I mean, that's kind of the beautiful part about working in nonprofits. It's everything, right?
yeah.
You know, you get to do all that good stuff. And so it was really special to be a part of. And, you know, it's really funny about, so I can't talk about gift because we're all not talking about what I do now, because in the early days, all the astronauts supported Henry, and they were on the
Henry's
board.
last name again?
Landworth.
Landworth. Henry Landworth.
And
We'll see a few pictures of him out
yeah,
of a personal notebook or photo book you brought here.
but they,
Yeah,
it's really
your
cool.
star-crossed for that to be in your
100.
background
I
sort of thing.
I worked there 20 years, give or take, you know, just shy. It was actually just shy 20 years but it was round numbers, 20 years. And I probably did, you know, several tours a week. And every time I toured, I started with Henry's history, which is he's a Holocaust survivor and he managed the Starlight Inn Motel. I mean, and so I started with the Mercury program. That's how I started out.
You're tied to the Mercury
years,
program
I talk
forever.
about it
That's neat.
constantly, not knowing where I would end up.
Not knowing that you would be at the organization you're gonna hear what one of the Mercury astronauts in a minute says about this organization. I pulled a lot of stuff off your website. Compliment your webmaster. I think it's a very good website. You got a lot of stuff on there.
We're doing a lot of work on it.
But there's a lot of everybody is, but
it's a work in progress.
it's easy to flow around. And,
good. Oh, that's great to hear.
I really thought it was because you know I'm always pulling these shows out.
You want it to be a great place for people to visit.
Let's see who's also saying hi. Well, Chris Callie, see you both in a few weeks.
See you.
He is
Count down the days,
here.
Chris. Count down
That's
the days.
right. And you had that prom scene photo gallery last year for him there with the balloons around his beautiful artwork.
Is it for innovators?
How about ribbons instead of balloons, though?
But those were so cool. That was so cool.
It was cool.
Yeah, no, the photo op will be up again at Hall of Fame, though.
You have a lot of fun if you can come to the Astronaut Hall of Fame induction. There are several different layers you can go to. Okay, the $1,400 is the, what do you call it, the Supernova?
Supernova. That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
You get one-on-one with astronauts and stuff like that. But there's some other levels there.
Yeah.
But you know what? It all supports the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation, which I found now in my budget a little bit every year just to support it, because it's about my heroes, and they do make you feel good about where your money's going, and you hear from them, and you do a great job
we
about
do podcasts together, all kinds of stuff.
That's right, exactly. From the kids of the world, we're going to here's what Wally Schirra said. When it comes down to it, the Mercury 7 Foundation may be our greatest legacy.
Isn't that huge?
I get goosebumps thinking about that.
That's
from
crazy.
Wally Schirra. All right. Wrote our first three spaceships, the Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was really appropriate. They're the astronauts on the left there, well-known picture. That's John Young jumping off the moon there. Saluting. John Young Parkway in Orlando's named after him.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll say in our Mercury Gemini gallery, who's from Orlando? You know what John Young Parkway is named after? And most of them don't, you know. But one of the great stories is somebody got to his office when he was the chief of the astronauts, and it was a woman saying, "You need to clean up your parkway. There's trash all over it."
That's great. Well,
true story.
My friend had convinced his wife that they named it John Young Parkway because he had to land the shuttle on that piece of land. She believed it for decades. Huh. Yeah.
Well, 40 years. This is quite a legacy. There's the number of scholarships, the number of universities, $8 million. All right.
I think my team actually, that is probably something that it hit over 9 million.
Does it?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, just whenever.
That's always going there. Here is your board of directors. So I'd throw that up there. Kurt Brown, a 6-time or 5-time master. I think Kurt was 5-time. 6-time, yeah. 6-time 4-pilot, twice a commander. And the biggest headache he had was taking John Glenn to space.
So you know what's really
sure.
cool about that mission?
Yes,
So
95.
is they took a Give Kids the World flag up on that mission.
Oh, did
and I
they?
I was at Give Kids the World the night John Young, excuse me.
You were part
with
of
John
Give
Glenn.
Kids the World at that time and not this?
I had no idea.
That's great.
And when John Glenn presented the flag, I was there the evening he brought it back to Henry.
Cool. The people, a lot of astronauts there. Our Bob Seek is on the board there. Great launch director, but architect of the shuttle era for sure.
And one of the nicest guys on the planet.
He is. He certainly is. And all of these launch directors, Mike Leinbach, met Mr. Jim Harrington. They are cool cats, man. They don't. You can never imagine them raising their voice or anything like that. Yet they're the ones that say "final go" on a shuttle. It's just amazing on there. I saw LeVar Burton there. You all, the actor.
Honorary.
He's honorary. Okay.
Yeah. So he's not.
And Tom Hanks is honorary.
Yeah, they don't seem to attend the meetings as often as the others, but
all right.
But no, very kind of them to really lend their
but
support.
some great astronauts: Hoot Gibson, Charlie Duke. Pleasure of meeting both of them. Scott Altman, he's a character. Scooter will be around.
Scooter will be around.
Yeah.
You might see him contending at the cocktail challenge.
Yes, he is.
He's back. He did. He didn't participate last year.
Oh, is that right? Okay,
So
we'll see those who.
He's out. He's out for vengeance.
Got to brag that I met the great Laura Shepard Churchley there, and there's Mark Usiak. Mark, you remember that day we turned around? Did you?
Mm-hmm.
The same week as her dad went to space, I think. In February, it was May. His flight was May 5th.
It was cold.
It was cold.
No,
you went out there for it.
Mm-hmm.
Out there in New Mexico, right?
Van Horn.
Yep.
Well,
what was that like? There she is wearing her suit.
It's really cool. It was very cold, and they warned me. And I don't think I quite believed how cold I would be while I was out there, but it was really neat. So we were very fortunate to be a recipient of Club for the Future funds when they did the auction for the first
Blue Origins Club for the Future.
Yeah. So when Blue did the auction of the sea on a New Shepard, the first one, they picked 19 charities to support, and we were one of them. So it was really neat to be invited to go out there and be a part of the launch. It was, we got to tour the barn where the rockets are kept. And I mean, we got really up close and personal with this. And, watched her wheel out to the launch pad in the Rivians. And
Michael Strahan was right there. Big football player.
My 17-year-old football playing son was very excited.
Was he? Yeah.
I was going to get to see Michael Strahan.
Yeah.
Saw him smoking a cigar afterwards.
Oh, really?
But what was neat was when we went after, came back down, we got to go out to the launch pad and see the crew and everything. And take pictures. So
now you've got a perspective of that now. When they launch again, they haven't launched in over a year. And we had Sarah Sabri here, the Egyptian lady that went to space.
Oh, very cool.
And Marty remembers that. Man, you thought she'd walked on the moon. She was very affected by her time in space, and a lovely lady.
I think for Laura, too, I don't ever want to speak on her behalf. It's her amazing, experience and opportunity. But to kind of get a real taste for, her dad's first launch, I think is kind of unique and special. Really very, very, I think a great way for her to honor.
I've met her 4 or 5 times, and this is a woman who really loved her dad.
Oh, and her sister, too.
Her sister.
She and Julie are.
Yeah. They're
the kids you want.
You see it in their eyes when you talk about it.
They're so proud.
And I got to say, she's just really been the right person for your organization.
And they're such incredible champions because they don't, they kind of do all the things that, introduce us to people that want to support the organization or that might benefit from the organization. They really, really keep ASF a priority in their lives. And I think that's pretty neat.
It is neat. She's a neat lady, and we'll have her on Stay Curious one day. She said she'd love to do it. She does know our
sure
museum.
She will.
And I'll get to say hi to her when I'm hanging out in the lobby with you guys.
She will not be. She will not be.
Oh, she won't be there?
No, she can't make it.
Oh, okay.
Year,
well, I wanted to brag about your staff, up there. We've got Morgan here helping you there, and say a little.
Morgan's brand new, so this is she's got rookie all over
Oh,
her.
does she?
Yeah,
Okay.
brand new.
Well,
They still
who am
call
I
me new,
covering
and
up
I'm
there?
going
I'm
on
covering
5
up
years.
Kristen, I think, who was with Morgan
Oh, Kirsten,
at our
yeah,
Kirsten,
there
our
she is.
shuttle fest. There.
Yeah.
Tell us about putting a team like this together at a nonprofit.
I would tell you, I would say this. If you want to, when you leadership is a decision, and that's in, a lot of people fall into leadership because they're just natural at it, but that doesn't mean they've decided to be a leader.
Right.
And maybe I'm just bossy, but no, I think it's really important.
Oh, I agree.
When you kind of go down that path, you have to make a decision. Am I gonna take this on and take it seriously, because it's a lot of work, because you have to learn how to grow and be nimble and be a different style to different people, meet them where they are sometimes, to really get the best out of folks. And I think, I always enter every relationship with work and from a place of trust. I don't ever say you have to earn my trust. I say I will trust you, and if you give me reason not to, then we have an issue. But trusting the team is the biggest thing. And so when I started in August of 2019, it's a small group. I went from like a place of nearly 200 employees, and I had quite an operations team underneath me, that all of a sudden it was itty bitty living space kind of. And I thought, wow, I think it's 10 times harder, because you can't hide. No one's hiding from each other. No one's off doing stuff for 2 weeks, so they don't have to look at you in the eye about something. You have to be very vulnerable. You have to be very trusting. You have to be very respectful. Empowerment. You mentioned that earlier. I think that's really important, is giving people the space to do things. And I think I do that. I'm sure everyone would tell you I'm a bit of a micromanager. I don't mean to be. But also, I like to try and invoke just a spirit of hospitality, and making sure that we're always keeping in check as to how others feel around us.
Great insight there.
So that's a little bit about my style and how I do it. And staying very mission focused. Mission.
Of course, I've been called upon to be involved with some organizations here that I never thought I'd be involved in, like the Museums of Brevard, and I concur with what you say in my leadership roles. And leadership is not a popularity contest. It is work, and when the buck stops with you, and you're responsible to this board of directors that has a dozen astronauts
on that board.
And multimillionaires and so forth. It's not our board is laced with some pretty heavy duty people too.
And there's no snow in them. Like they are going to call you. They are smart, brilliant, not just business savvy, but just smart people. And they
have their own people that they need to please.
Gotta be full transparency.
But great stuff there. Tom Celentano said he's been at the Innovators Gala there before. And we'll talk.
Which
we're going to talk
if you
about
go,
that
because I say it all the time.
Here we got.
There's Morgan and Kirsten.
Morgan and Kirsten.
Out doing their thing.
My way of thanking you all for participating in our Shuttle
Absolutely.
Fest. We've really been empowered to take that to the next level. We're already working on Shuttle Fest.
And you're growing it every year.
We are. The Hyatt Place Hotel there, awesome, weren't they, Morgan? I don't know if you ever do any events there, but they're really Dana's just really done us right. They want the space community there.
Yeah.
And that was fun. And I only had about 5 vendors there, but everybody was happy. And I got me a nice T-shirt and some other stuff in there. So they do a good job on there. So let's get into some of the education here, Caroline. This is the great John Glenn said, the most important thing we can do is inspire young minds and to advance the kind of science, math, and technology education that will help youngsters take us to the next phase of space travel, said John Glenn, who passed away at age 95 about 5 years ago. Our Buckeye in space. Yes, ma'am, that's true. I got to meet him when I was a reporter, putting myself through Ohio State. All right. Yeah, I've told that story several times. I'll tell it to you off air. But wasn't he a man that just he commanded the room, yet he made you feel so comfortable in it?
So yeah, I mean, I didn't get to know. I
You
only
get to
met
know
him
him very well.
briefly
Uh-huh.
once, and that was pre ASF. But Kurt talks about him. Kurt Brown, our
Yeah.
board chair, and he talks about what an absolutely wonderful, wonderful human
Yeah.
he was,
Yeah.
and Annie too.
And his
That
wife
both
Annie.
of them, and Henry, our founder of ASF and Give Kids World, was very close to John and Annie. They were very dear friends.
They started
Yeah,
they were in elementary school when they got a crush on each other.
so cute.
Down there in southeastern Ohio, trying to think, Cambridge is where he's from. Another party school, Athens, is nearby.
Oh, we
there.
don't. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
OU.
Oh my gosh, we were just talking about OU last weekend. Yeah, I'm doing
Were
college
ya?
searching with my son.
Yeah.
OU's no.
OU's off the table.
Off
right?
the table. Nope. I wasn't
Ohio
allowed to go.
University,
He's
yeah.
not allowed to go.
Here's your scholarship kids
There's
I
some
call
of
them
them, yeah.
this year, and I know you have other people that deal with them probably, but what an honor! And
I spend a ton of time with our scholars.
do you? Okay.
I do.
Okay.
We have.
Well,
to-
tell us about what it takes.
They're just so it. What do you? So I guess there's so much to say about the scholars. So first of all, I don't know if would you like me to go into the process of how it all kind of works?
Well, sure. So we have people that have young kids
Yeah.
out there that maybe want to
So-
apply for. Dave Stangy's got his granddaughter on his lap probably up here in
Aw.
Michigan. He's one of our fans up there, but yeah,
Yeah,
tell us a
so
little
it's
bit, of
really,
course,
it's
because this is more about them, really, this gala, as much as the Hall of
everything
Fame
we do.
astronaut.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes back to the mission, right? So the founders, they started in 1984. They wanted to figure out, what do we do with our legacy? And they all believe strongly in education and investing in our future innovators. And, STEM was not the buzzword, but, science and technology certainly were. And they knew that they needed to do, that was an important way for them to
Mhm.
impact the United States on being leaders in technology and innovation.
Look at the fields of study that you
So it's
guys
very
have broke
broad.
down.
It's very broad.
It is broad, from life sciences
Yeah.
at the top.
Life science all lumped together because there's, biotech and, pharma, and there's just so many different
Of course,
facets
aerospace engineering's high up there, but you got
Oh, everything.
your astronomy and
Everything.
chemistry, and all spread out pretty even in there.
Yeah, it's a wide variety. And
Even meteorology and climatology, and that's probably going to start going up there as well.
yeah, we're
people
merit
involved with
based,
that.
so we really want the best and brightest that the country has to offer. So we have 48 university partners, and we really work closely with those liaisons at the universities to help identify who those top kids are.
Mhm.
And they get
Do
the
you?
yeah.
Okay.
So then they nominate the top students, and they submit a personal statement, their CV, their transcripts, and 2 letters of recommendation. And then we have a volunteer scholarship selection committee that reviews them. We just are going through the process.
There's some of those colleges
Yeah.
there I pulled off
Those
there.
are all our schools, and then we'll get the final slate approved by the board of directors, and then we'll be able to announce the next round. And these are kids who are already published, or they're pending publishing. They're doing projects and internships and getting patents, and on top of all that, they're leaders on their campus.
Mm-hmm.
But they're really, I really feel like, and if you've met our scholars, they're really special. And what's great is then they come together at this innovators event that Tom mentioned, and we do that once a year. We bring all the current class of scholars, then we invite alumni to join us as well, and then we have lots of our astronaut supporters and a lot of great just ASF supporters come, and we celebrate the scholars, but they present their research in rapid fire form over a 2-day tech conference, and then we do professional development for them, but they create their cohort and their network as well, and then they get a professional mentor assigned to them for their scholar year as well.
Interesting.
But just it's a really cool program.
I pulled a couple things off here. Here's one of your.
There's one of our scholars everybody knows.
Everybody knows Christina. Hammock cook there. Artemis
She's
2
awesome.
crew. I lost some money because I thought she'd be the first woman on the moon. Now I'm going for Jessica Meir.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I
But,
got to meet Jessica. She's
did
a
you?
great girl, too. Yeah.
Yeah. But they of course did spacewalks together. And yeah, they're going to be delayed a little bit, and hope that doesn't get them too bummed out. But
Oh, she's so busy. We were emailing the other time, and she's always going and going and going. But we're hoping we get to see her this year during our 40th anniversary year.
Good.
When we head over to Houston, hopefully we get to run into her.
Excellent, excellent. Well, there's some of the colleges there. Yes, I see the University of Michigan there, everybody.
Don't hold that
with the
against her.
Buckeyes there. Purdue, University of Texas there. LSU. I mean, the ones you would expect. Embry-Riddle, just up the road here, home of Ron Guerin and Nicole Stott, two astronauts that came out of that university. We've had both those astronauts do book signings for us. Auburn, I'll bet Georgia Tech's in there, right?
Georgia Tech is on
Yeah,
there. There's a
Georgia.
lot of schools that aren't that you would think would be on there, and it's not because they're not worthy. It's really just a growth trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
So we add about 3 schools a year.
Here's a couple things highlighted on there, the scholars, and tell us a little bit about the Neil Armstrong Award of Excellence.
Sure. Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing, right?
Yeah.
So in 2017, we launched that award, and just a wonderful, generous donor who was friends with Neil wanted to do something in honor of Neil Armstrong, and got together with Rick and Mark and
His sons.
Yep, and they all decided kind of what the parameters would be. So it goes to an Astronaut Scholar alum.
Mm-hmm.
So it is an astronaut scholar who, it doesn't necessarily have to be lifetime achievement because they might be very young in their career still, but that really exemplify some of the characteristics of Neil Armstrong. But they have that, just strong integrity, and they're just high achieving. Their work is just, already, kind of off the charts, and they're doing great things. And there's a whole nomination selection process for that. And we're getting ready we'll be announcing that in June, our next winner. So Christina is one of our recipients of the Neil Armstrong Award of Excellence.
Yeah, you have a big, another event about the whole thing.
So that's our innovators. So the Innovator Symposium and Gala is all about scholars. Mm-hmm. And we, like I said, we recognize the current class of all the kids that are selected for 2024. They'll get brought together. They'll get awarded on stage, announced. They'll get a nice framed certificate from Kurt Brown and a photo with Kurt. And then we bring on the Neil Armstrong Award of Excellence recipient as well, to recognize him or her, and let them share kind of what their inspiration is, and what their kind of leave everyone inspired from them. And what they're going to continue to do.
What an event. You guys got teenagers out there, or pre-teens, whatever. You want to get them into the sciences, engineering. I have a liberal arts background because we were going to be the Woodward and Bernstein reporters, with Watergate. But I say, don't go into liberal arts. Go into engineering and make some money. All right, we're just as smart as you guys. We just took a different, more.
I started in STEM. I actually did. So that's kind of my story. I started in biology. I was a biology major for 2 years.
I was hooked up to my name in the newspaper and taking photos.
Well.
And all that stuff.
I was very distracted.
Were you?
And so I was like, how can I get out in 4 years?
There you go.
And I said, I'll go into communications. And next thing I knew, I was on Dean's list.
Well, we're enjoying this conversation with Carolyn Schumacher. We've got Marty Winkle on the board here. I was telling her, Marty and I have done about 1,040 some episodes of Stay Curious. And this is going to go up there at the top of one of my favorites, Marty. I've been excited to get to know Carolyn.
Everybody.
Well, go play the tape and see on there. We make
but not getting kicked out of the door yet.
We love Michael Collins, anything involved with him, and I ran across this, so I wanted to ask you, what's this all about, the Michael Collins Family Professional Development Program? Is this a special?
It's really neat. So we named our professional development program that we provide to our scholars after Michael Collins, and the reason being is he was very passionate and verbally with us that he wanted our scholars, the tech stuff is great, the lab stuff is great, and it's important, but it's not, you gotta understand how to function outside the lab. You gotta be able to present, you gotta be able to communicate, you gotta be able to write. And that was really, really important that if we need to incorporate that into our program. And we were already doing so many things for our scholars unofficially.
Mm-hmm.
We had a tech conference for our alumni. And we had sort of unofficial mentorship and networking, but we weren't formally teaching it. So we kind of pulled it all together, and we have this program that we do. So it's, in person during the Innovator Symposium. It's a multi-day thing. We do industry tours. We do panel discussions with professionals. We do leadership talks. Last year we did sort of a speed learning atmosphere, talk about, different paths that they can go. We bring a professional expo together, but we provide them a lot of networking and speaking engagements, as many as we can, even as alumni. I have had scholars speaking at the visitor complex this year. We put together a panel for Space Club, so that anytime I can get them out there to use their skills, showcase who they are, their work, add to their resume, we're going to do that for them.
Excellent. And just another outstanding. Well, I hit that.
So
Marty.
all that kind of rolls up to our Michael Collins Family Professional Development.
I hit
Program.
the bottom there, Marty. I accidentally.
Uh-oh. Are we still on?
Oh, there we are. There's Caroline. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're still on. It takes a lot to kick us off of here. Michael Collins, of course. Gemini astronaut, did a spacewalk, and then the third astronaut orbiting the moon when Neil and Buzz were on the surface there. There's again, you can buy a lot of things from you all. They've got astronaut autographs, over 200 of them listed there. I pulled off a couple. Yeah, you got some swag here.
And I brought show and tell.
There we go. All right, let's go.
Because it's our 40th anniversary year, we have all kinds of cool exclusive merchandise, including our monthly T-shirts that come out. So there's the Mercury 7.
You got what you got on the back there. Connie was wearing this. Connie.
Yeah, I came in. She was sporting it.
There's our 40th anniversary there.
Yeah.
The iconic photograph there.
Yeah, I have the one.
Now you're saying you can get a T-shirt every month.
Every month we release a new one.
Okay.
And we'll have a pop-up store at Hall of Fame weekend in the Hilton Cocoa Beach.
Okay.
That folks can come get our merchandise.
Good. Of course, I picked this up.
That's my
somewhere
favorite.
From you guys.
This one might be my favorite.
Oh, okay.
But that was my favorite.
Yeah.
And then this one's really cool. You'll like this one because you were talking about it. The Atlas.
Oh yeah, the Atlas rocket.
Right? How cool is that?
That's the Atlas rocket that took John Glenn, Scott Carpenter, Wally Schirra, and Gordo Cooper to space. And 61 years later, after Gordo's last flight, we're taking an Atlas rocket to space with Butch and Sonny. So that's cool.
And then, I don't know if you've seen this. I don't know if you pay attention to our store, but you're going to now.
I am now.
So this is
right after our American Space Museum store.
Yes. We'll buy there first. We'll be your second choice. It's okay. I'm not offended.
No, we got different stuff.
Yeah, but this is our Retro 51 pen.
Oh, okay. I heard about this.
Yeah, this is real. I think the packaging is just so cool.
Okay, so we've got this.
It's all inspired by the Mercury suit.
Uh-huh.
And then such a great pen. So look at the pen.
Ooh, very stylized there. Marty, you want to zoom in a little bit on it there? Let me get it up there. So there we go. There we go.
And then check the end.
It's got the
But you got the Mercury 7 logo, and then the other end.
Oh, okay.
It's the 40th seal on there.
Oh, 40. Oh, they got the little 40th anniversary on there.
Yeah.
Let me get that right side.
Yeah, you got there. You go.
There you go.
Yep. Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah.
Doesn't that turn out nice?
Got a little info in there.
Yeah. Well,
your retro 1951. Life is too short. Carry an ugly pen.
It's a beautiful pen. If you're picky about the way your pen writes, that one writes really well.
Does it?
I'm picky.
All right.
But these are on our website. So
it's a short pen, and it's good. That's good.
I recommend. Beautiful. They'll have them on Retro 51 too, but
all right, check them out on their website.
I recommend getting them. From
Sign up for the T-shirt once a month. There, that's a good.
Yeah, the T-shirts.
Is that something new that you just?
We did the T-shirt just for the 40th.
Oh, okay.
So we do T-shirts, a couple each year, but now we're doing the monthly ones, and they come with a story. So we have right now the T-shirt is the Starlight Motel.
Starlight Hotel is. Okay.
Yeah, so you can see that one. I'll just get that later because I'm going to keep dropping it.
Well,
and then there's some other items that went up too. We have some nice new
And of
apparel.
course, if you don't sell them out, they're there on your store to get on there.
Yeah.
So let's see here.
And
Uh,
we'll have items at the pop-up store during Hall of Fame weekend that you can't see. So some of the monthly shirts will be at the pop-up store, not online.
okay.
So if you come by the Hilton Cocoa Beach.
I'll have to do that. Marty, go out just a little bit on us here. We got, who was, where did I go there? Cliff Watson's watching down in Pomona, Australia. Cliff was sitting in
down
the
under?
seat here for the solar eclipse. He's, he came
nice.
here. He's a big fan of ours.
Nice.
And what am I doing here? All right, don't do that. And Steve Jokum says, as an EE Tech grad from Bradley University, I couldn't agree more. Theory's great, but application makes industry happen.
Mm-hmm.
So he agrees with your management philosophy there. And you know, it's so important that, you know, you're a leader, but you got to have delegation skills. You got to have confidence and trust in people. And, you know, I'm like you, if something happens that, you know, it's not that exactly I trusted you there, but we need to.
But sometimes too, you can become such a strong individual contributor that you kind of get just lumped in. Oh, you're really successful and high achieving, and you give us great results, and then you get put into this management role, and you're just completely unequipped.
Yeah.
And so for our scholars, it's so important that we're always providing that, just that boost, the people they can turn to, people they can benchmark off of.
Well, we got the promotions there for some of your stuff there. I wanted to throw out, we just have auctions about every 6 weeks now, but you can get affordable astronaut autographs there. Charlie Bolden, there's $40. Moonwalkers are $175 to $400.
There's a variety of.
A big variety. There's Fred Gregory. He's out to Space Center. Of course, Fredo.
Yeah, he's here right now, I think.
Yeah, Fred's out there right now doing his thing.
I was with him at Clemson.
Oh, were you?
Mm-hmm.
He's a very
he's great.
He really took me. He was not like a commander. He's very esoteric. His talk at the Space Center is about astronomy. He talked about where the Webb telescope is and the L2 orbit.
Yep.
And explained all of that. I saw out there. So Fred Gregory's really a neat guy, though a commander. He's just an unassuming boss in many ways. Yeah, Marty.
Yeah, today's his last day out there. J.D. Bartow will be there tomorrow.
Yeah, good old JT was at John David was at our Shuttle Fest. And,
nice.
Yeah, he
Very
enjoyed
nice.
that. And then Bob Cabana crashed it. We were
Hey,
happy about that.
It's a good
for
party
sure.
crasher.
Yeah, well, we talked about his Ulysses flight when he was a pilot.
Very
And
cool.
we couldn't get Bruce Melnick. He was hunting turkey, we think.
Bruce,
at the time.
Bruce and I do a lot together with the Scholarship Foundation, and
He's a
he
lot of
has
fun.
been busy lately. Yeah, usually he's in the cocktail challenge.
Yeah,
He's
right.
done
He's
that,
not coming.
Not this year.
Yeah, he's doing something.
We'll get it. We'll get him another year.
I know he was going to
come back.
Europe and got cut off because of COVID, and he was looking forward to going to Europe a few times there. Well, we're going to save the date. You can still get in on the Scholarship Foundation's one-of-a-kind Astronaut Hall of Fame just to spend the money and hang out at the hotel there and see your heroes walk by you with their wives and
Come to the
their
cocktail challenge at
friends.
Zarella's.
And let's talk about them. There's the beautiful Hall of Fame, and the lucite headshots of them there are really great to see, very unique. Of course, that's Alan Shepard in the middle. It does look like him. Awesome. At it's
Heroes and Legends at the Visitor Complex.
yeah, Hall of Fame,
Kennedy
and they're
Space
sponsored by Boeing, I believe.
Yes, they do.
Is what that is on there. David Hilmer, just a little thumbnail sketch here of him. Marty, I don't know anything about this book. You're a big book person. He's 74 years old. He born in Clinton, Iowa. So he's like you, a good old corn-fed kid from the Midwest there. And born January 28th. That's not too good of a day to be born. That's
What's his birthday?
January 28th,
that's
the
my
Challenger accident.
Oh, yeah, that's my mom's birthday.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
4 flights, 51J in October 85. And that was a DOD mission. And Atlantis' maiden voyage. I always thought being on a maiden space flight of a spaceship would be a little extra oomph in the butterflies or whatever.
From everything I hear, he really knew the shuttle inside and out.
He returned to space on the STS-26, so famous after the Challenger accident, a DoD mission on 36, and then he was on Atlantis, the microgravity 1 mission in January 92. So he flew 4 times in 7 years. That's pretty satisfying career, I would think, in there. And here's he become a doctor.
But it wasn't enough. He needed to go do more.
Yeah. So he become a surgeon at a Houston hospital, where this picture is taken there. So
yeah, he does. He and his wife do amazing work around the globe.
They do. They're
Hepatitis B Free is their organization. It was founded by his wife Alice, and they travel all over the globe, treating hepatitis B patients and inoculating children and everything. Yeah, and then he was on front lines of COVID as well at Baylor.
So I saw pictures of him in other countries.
He's a really, really incredible human.
Look, 74. I'm sure he's still keeping the pace there.
Oh yeah, they're in Australia. Yeah, so he'll be traveling.
Cool. All right. There's Marcia Ivins.
The famous picture of her hair.
Yeah. She's 73 years old, born April 15th, 1991 in Baltimore, Maryland. But she went to high school in Wallingford, Pennsylvania. They're UCF brothers. Marky said he's loving today's show. He's in traffic in Washington, D.C.
Oh, sorry about that.
Pay attention to the road, Mark, okay?
But I'll try not to say anything too scathing and scandalous.
And, he's
Why
gonna
was
be
there a car crash in the DC?
She's got 5 flights. So she went up to retrieve the LDEF in 1990. And then her 5 missions are spread over 11 years. She flew with Andy Allen on the tethered mission of 64 or 46, STS-62 microgravity, and 81 was Atlantis, and 98 she delivered Destiny to the International Space Station. So we've talked to a few people that have worked with her when she was out here at the Space Center as the number 2 in the White Room, and very involved. And she looks like a lot of fun, and had lunch with the NASA group, and Kay Heyer was in that group. And I said, "You coming back for the Hall of Fame?" She was, "I got to see my girl Marcia." And
very well respected.
Yeah, she's
very
favorite
very
of
professional.
a lot of them.
Everyone says how competent she was. Extremely.
And there's a picture of her in recent years there, still rocking her beautiful long hair there, and yeah, she'll be a crowd pleaser there. So, tell us a little bit about what is the selection of the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, so the Hall of Fame, it was started in 1990, and it was originally it was started by the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation, but since 2005, it's been part of Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. So our involvement is just helping to steward the process of with the committee. The Hall of Fame committee is comprised of the Hall of Fame astronauts and then some other members that are really, past NASA officials, media that covered the space program, but, highly tuned into the program. And so they have to be there. Everybody goes on an automatic nomination now. In the beginning, it was classes like the Mercury class of astronaut, and Apollo classes. Yeah. And so it was a little bit different. And that was way back then. And I don't know if you remember, but it used to be located where, like, the Courtyard Marriott Titusville.
I have a picture to take us back there here.
Yeah, and then it moved over.
There's Marcia there. We'll talk about that in a second there.
But yeah, they have to be 7.
Right, there you go. There.
From in the induction year, they have their first flight has to have been like 17 years. They have to have orbited the Earth, and then it's kind of an automatic pool. And so obviously the shuttle program is just it's a big pool.
Over 300 shuttle astronauts. I think there's 107 people inducted into the Hall of Fame now.
So
we'd like to see some of our friends like
it'll happen.
Like Mike Baker in there.
Oh, I love Baker.
Bakes
He's
is a lot
good
of fun.
guy.
Yeah, he's going to be here July 4th weekend.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, we like Bakes, so we take him out to dinner every time.
He flew with Marcia.
Yeah, he did. Yep. He went to the Mir Space Station also.
So I think it's exciting. With the shuttle program, we're just going to see more and more people, and it's kind of cool.
We
And
talked to
they're all
Tom
our
Jones,
heroes.
and Tom Jones was
Oh, Tom.
very affected by being in there. In
They're
fact,
very, yeah, it's quite an honor. I think too, it's I think way back, one of the things that became important when they started originally we were called the Mercury 7 Foundation. So when they started the Mercury 7 Foundation before it morphed into the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation, and they did that because they wanted all eras of the astronauts to be able to identify with the organization, not just belong to Mercury. Belongs, the astronauts could kind of, the idea is all astronauts are invited to take up the torch and carry our organization on. But I think it was, they also discovered how important it was to preserve the history of space exploration, honor it.
yeah.
I think that's what you're doing here. I think we all are kind of in it together, right? I mean, I've got kids and I hear how little they know about the space program, and I have friends that when I started here that didn't even know there was Apollo missions outside of 11 or 13, because it was the only two that and you think, gosh, that's really unfortunate, because this is such a small group when you put it in perspective of how many people are on this earth that have been off the earth. I mean, it's crazy.
617 humans have orbited the Earth, 77 of them women. And I find it a paradox, do you, that though our society is space crazy in the context of pop culture, they're so naive about the facts of it. You could be standing in a line
100%.
today at a grocery store and somebody say, "Did you see the shuttle go up this afternoon at 2:30?" And honey, they haven't launched a shuttle in 12 years. That was
people are kind of ignorant, but I kind of blame.
But it's a paradox.
The storytelling needs to be better too. I mean, I think there needs to be a lot more. There's a lot of other distractions on social channels and TV now that are, frankly, just mind numbing. But it's distracting. And I think it's building the excitement again around it. And, Tom Jones actually is one that I reference when I think about it, because he was speaking at Georgia Tech to a group of students. And he said, we've become a risk adverse society.
Yes.
We don't want to talk about the risk. We're afraid of it. We want the cool things to happen, right?
Right.
But the risk part is scary, and it is scary.
It is.
But there are a lot of other things, but it's so high profile, with so much exposure, that when the risks are very apparent, as we talk about with Challenger and Columbia, and
we didn't launch the other night because of a valve on a rocket.
And I think people are afraid to accept some of that and still be excited about it.
Yeah.
It's okay to be excited about something that's dangerous, because it's also, the net good is so big.
Yeah. Yeah, but a lot of the old timers around here say too much risk assessment, not enough risk taking.
Yeah.
And that's only how we expand. And but it's a dangerous business. It has its rewards of glamour and a huge payoff. And if you do lose your life, you're going to be immortalized too, as we know it there. So it's like Charlie Walker sat here and said, and he tells Kennedy Space Center, he says, "I wasn't afraid. I died 200 times in simulators, I knew what that was like."
I think Gregory says a kind of similar story. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we're enjoying a conversation here with Caroline Schumacher, heading to the corner here to finish it off. You got all these astronauts, 3, 6, 9, 10 astronauts, and the other lady there's talking at different panels that you have. Those are very popular, the panels.
Oh, it's awesome.
That's how we've gone
really,
with
really cool.
our shuttle fest. Just get 2 or 3 people up there and
I think too,
with a lot of questions.
So many great stories get uncovered that maybe somebody hasn't heard before. I always encourage, tell everybody something you haven't thought to tell, because our audience will find it fascinating. But no, that's for our Friday ticket holders that come. That'll all be at Hilton Cocoa Beach. We'll have talks and panels. We kick off with Andy Allen. Then we have a commercial space panel, an ISS panel, and then our astronaut scholars will do a panel.
Yeah, you got Joan Higginbotham there.
Yeah, she's doing Thursday morning.
Bob Cabana.
Cabana's a moderator for it.
Chris Ferguson and Robert Satcher. That's a good one there. There's Tom Jones and Shane Kimbrough and Rick. I can't. Mistrachio.
He's also
I murder his name.
He's also a cocktail challenge contender.
Yes, he is. He is. Yeah. One of the taller astronauts too, and he was crammed in that Soyuz spacecraft. Who's in the upper left-hand corner? Oh, Bernard Harris.
I gotta have my
Yeah.
glasses on.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
there.
Bernard Harris is there.
So again, you can still get there, and here are the artists that are going to be
and that's
there.
going to be Friday evening, 4 to 6. That's going to be awesome.
And we've got who's the guy on the bottom there, Marty? I knew I wouldn't write
So
their name.
I think you got
That's,
Lee.
Lee Wilson. Yeah, Lee Wilson's over my head there. And of course, our great supporter of our museum, a good friend, Chris Calley there. Nicole Stott is an artist.
Chris
if you
has
didn't
been
know.
a part of Hall of Fame. Gosh, well, I mean, I'm sure a very long time, but definitely since I've been around, he's always super helpful, and
He's
great
coming
thing
up.
about Chris is that he's not just there to display his artwork. He ends up schlepping too. Somehow he's always like moving tables and chairs too.
Yeah. That's he's so talented. His dad,
His
Paul
work
Calley,
is beautiful.
he and his dad have over 40 U.S. stamps to their credit.
That Starry Night's one of my favorites.
That's your favorite there,
Yeah.
Starry Night.
Yeah, that's the one that's blown up, the prom picture.
Chris
that you're talking
sent me these from his printer this
beautiful.
afternoon, and true to the legacy, he keeps the Mercury astronauts in a lot of his montages there. This is the David.
It's cool. Ginsburg.
Yeah, Ginsburg. David Ginsburg has this stylized group there. I thought that was pretty cool.
Very cool, yeah.
Off of his website there. Lee Wilson does these murals, and he'll put meteorites and pieces of
Beautiful.
rocks from the Mars meteorite maybe on there. Very unique there. And of course, Nicole Stott is not just a watercolor artist, first one in space, but she has pioneered these space suits for her Art in Space Foundation. This is a mannequin, actually, in space. I think there's 7 of them now. And we hope to have someday one of these at our shuttle fest. She's not bringing one of these to your event, is she?
No, she's not. She'll have other art pieces of art.
Well, maybe we could, at a shuttle fest, you could sponsor that for us on there someday.
I don't know how we get this. We got to talk to her about that.
We'll talk to her about it. Her
she's really
and,
cool. And I have
her fabulous husband, Chris.
I have another cool thing that's happening with the art show.
Oh, do you?
Is not on our website because we're not promoting it that way. But one of our scholars, Vikas Patel, who it's related to Nicole Stott. That's why I want to tell you the story. He is our 2023 astronaut scholar at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Brilliant kid. He's doing work with Polaris Dawn, camera work, and then he did work with Eagle Cam too.
With Polaris Dawn is Eric Isaacman's private company.
And so he was so inspired by Nicole Stott when he got the scholarship. And Nicole's an Embry-Riddle grad as well, and she helped us start the scholarship at Embry-Riddle. And he said, I want to do something with art. And so one of our supporters, Preston Root, helped him, and they went out to high schools in the Daytona area and had an art competition. And it had to be, it's called the Driving to Fly art competition. So art had to be inspired by aviation or aerospace. And they did a whole exhibit in the Daytona Museum of Arts and Sciences, and they awarded winners a monetary award and everything. And so the top 3 are going to be on display at our little art show during Hall of Fame. And so 2 of the high school artists get to
look
come.
forward to that.
Yeah,
they'll have 4 great artists there to look at their work.
I thought what a cool opportunity for them to engage.
How about that, Chris Calley? You can give some pointers to one of these young artists out there. There's our cocktail challenge.
There it
Chris,
is.
There
they are. Will Chris Ferguson rap again this year? That is the question.
That's right. This is they make a cocktail, people sample it, and
how do they win?
Catch a good buzz.
But how do they win?
How did they win? Yeah.
Do you know? Do they remember?
A lot of bribes, I think.
Well, they vote. So you vote with your dollars, and it's a fundraiser. So and this year, I'll leak it to this group only. So keep your mouth shut.
All right. Stay curious.
We're going to give you an opportunity to start voting, or if you can't attend, you can vote for who you think might make the best drink. And so we'll be putting that out on our Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. But you can go on early and vote. But whichever mixologist gets the most votes, which is with dollars, wins as the cocktail champion. So Scooter's won before.
Mhm.
Ferguson's the reigning champ, and Rick's back. He's in it again this year. He's determined to upset the champion.
They're breathing a sigh of relief that Bruce Melnick's not there, I think.
Yeah, Bruce won. Bruce has been champion.
And I'd say Kay Hire will probably be helping judge, and
Everybody judge. You all, if you're attending, you're a judge. We all get to judge.
And
we'll auction off who gets to sample
and
first.
I'll be attending. I bought a special outfit for that night.
Now I'm curious. Very curious.
You'll stay curious there. So. This has been fun. There's our Hall of Fame inductees, David Hilmer, Marsha Ivins in there. Well-deserved, great people. Look them up on there. We'll be talking more about that as we celebrate your 40th anniversary with you here on Stay Curious. Wanted to harvest a few pictures from your, you've got a great connection to your Flickr. Album.
Did you like the 40th album? We keep putting more in there.
So I thought, all of us here at Stay Curious, we love our legacy, we love our astronauts, and this is the old building that is now Boeing took that over, Lockheed Martin took that. Slap me silly there.
That's
Marty.
okay.
Lockheed Martin took that over. I wish we had. It'd been a great place for our museum to be there, but this is going into the Kennedy Space Center Visitors Complex on the 405. Right by the American Police Museum, and the Courtyard Marriott's behind there, and in the front of it on Route 1 is our friends at Hyatt Place there. So, of course, you got Scott Carpenter, Gordo Cooper, Wally Schirra there. I thought it was cool to just show a few pictures. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, about 30 astronauts in the back row. All right, with their Hall of Fame medals that you haul everybody out there with the students. They're at the Rocket Garden. I think that's like 2001. Look at this, folks. Look at our heroes there. All right. I believe that's Uncle Al Warden. Look at the shirt that Pete Conrad's got on there. So this had to be before 99 because he passed away then. His great friend, Dick Gordon. There's Gordo Cooper. Buzz Aldrin has supported you guys through and through very, very staunchly. Of course, Buzz is 94 years old now. There's Al Shepard and Scott Carpenter there enjoying a photo session with a bunch of people. And they frequently would sit down with the scholarship and their families there. That's Jim Lovell on far left, and he's the oldest living human that's ever orbited the Earth. He's 95 years old. And you've got the senator.
He was our chairman of our board.
Oh, was he? For many years?
For many years.
In the middle there, isn't that Cunningham, Marty? I think that's Cunningham, and then Wally, and then Gordo there.
In the very middle in the front?
Yeah.
Is that Howard Benedict?
No.
Where?
Oh, I don't know. The great writer? That could be Howard Benedict.
He was our executive, our first
Okay, I'll bet that
director.
is Howard Benedict. You got Pete, you got Charlie Duke behind him there, to the right there. So very, very, just some blasts from the past there. There's another 24 astronauts back there, part of this wonderful Astronaut Scholarship Foundation and the kids that they support. There's Laura above my head there. Yeah. Right there with the group there.
For a long time.
That's the class of 2007. All right, 14 years ago. And then there's another early.
Okay, so that picture, where that picture is taken, was at Give Kids the World.
Oh, was
that
it?
is in the building where my first office was.
Okay.
Yep.
I see young Mike McCulley's in the background.
They used to hold their meetings at Give Kids the World because we had a lot of meeting space.
Well, you certainly have come full circle. That is so interesting in your life.
I know.
Yeah. And I want to end here just with a couple happy pictures of some good encounters that I've seen you at. This was a breakfast that you guys had. That was a good time. Yeah. Well, didn't we see a rocket launch that morning too?
There might have been one a little bit later, yeah.
But Joanne Morgan, the first female engineer that broke so many molds for women, the glass ceiling, so to speak. She was also over the Human Spaceflight Division. Titusville native. She got her job by seeing it. She got her job out of Kennedy Space Center by seeing it posted on the post office billboard. and her dad was friends with the postmaster and said you ought to apply for this job. And she's just so awesome.
She's
and
very
lucid.
awesome. She helped us bring on Montana State University.
Yeah, I'd say she did. She's probably in Montana right now. We tried to get her on Stay Curious while she was here the winter. We asked her too late. She says, "Mark, I'm just booked up." You know, and she stays busy. What a wonderful lady. Joanne Morgan is there. And then there's Nikki Stott there, one of our favorites. She's just the hardest working astronaut out there.
She's always doing stuff,
she's
traveling
always doing
everywhere,
something.
and always doing stuff with kids. Always making sure
Absolutely.
she takes time to.
And that's why we
really
promote the
inspire
art. It's because of her. We love the A in STEAM for art, but it could also be astronomy, aeronautics, whatever out there. So, Caroline, it has to be 5 o'clock somewhere. That's the courthouse in Findlay, Ohio. There,
look at that.
At Hancock County to take you out there, my friend. Thoroughly enjoyed our visit today. Hope you
my
did.
Pleasure.
On there, we hope to have you or your staff back. We'll love to have get Morgan here, some of your other associates to cut their teeth with the media here and bring them down here. We'd love to talk more about your place as we love, of course, what you do. Marty, I'm looking at the my smart tablet here. Carlton said yes, that was Howard Benedict of the Associated Press. They're sitting there with the astronauts at that. So anything I didn't ask you that you'd like to share with our Stay Curious audience?
Just, I think we kind of touched on it. I'm just thrilled at what you're doing here. You guys are doing great work. You should be very proud of it. And I think it's important we're all in this together to honor our pioneering astronauts, but also celebrate what we're doing in the future. And I'm just excited to share our mission at any turn I get. We do really cool, important work. Those scholars are really, they are our future. Right. You look, Christina's an astronaut, but they're not just doing that. They're doing, we've the 100th flight director at JSC is one of our scholars, a research 238 pilot is one of our scholars. We could just kind of go on and on with the crazy list of their accomplishments, but it just shows that it's really important to support them in any way, shape, or form. Whether it's, coming to our events, tune into us on one of our virtual activities, but even if it's not ASF supporting any of the STEM organizations, we're really kind of blessed in this community to, know how important that is and get involved.
Well, you're so focused on what America needs is bright minds in this landscape of where we're constantly told that we're behind other countries and so forth like that.
Help make it exciting and new and keep telling this story. It's important.
That's right. And to be supported by this rare select fraternity of space travelers is just amazing.
Because you never know when you're a part of history.
No,
right?
You don't. And we've had Terry White, our manager of the Orbital Processing Facilities. You know Terry? You're smiling.
I know the name, but I don't think I've met.
Terry, every opportunity he gets, the astronaut Steve Smith said astronauts have heroes too. Yeah. And our heroes are the space worker. And I'm sure that the heroes of some of your astronauts at the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation are just so joyful that how they have tapped some of the world's future brightest minds out there to do great things for us.
And there's a lot of cool stuff. If you go on our website, we've had like a couple cool things posted, some not as cool as this podcast. We've had a couple other podcasts that highlighted our mentor program. Right. So those are great to tune into. So, I just encourage people to kind of pay attention. It's not just about, one or two events a year that we're active all year. So if you just kind of follow us on Instagram, social,
active all year, just like us. Rarely do we tout another nonprofit here at our beautiful nonprofit.
We're in it together.
But we're in it together, and you certainly are a partner that we want to develop with over the years. And have in the past and will continue in the future. So, Caroline Schumacher, thank you for doing such an excellent job. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure everybody else has out there. We look forward to having you
everybody.
On the show again. Maybe
I hope the traffic has lightened up in D.C.
Yeah, there you go, Marky. So thank you, everybody, for being part of Stay Curious today. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a program about, do you know that China's landing on the moon? And with an unmanned spacecraft that they want to bring back 4 pounds of lunar soil from the South Pole, see if there's any water in it. Yeah, you're going to learn about that tomorrow to stay curious. And then Friday, we have a young female engineer from Via Space, our hometown
cool.
backyard
Yeah.
rocket company is going to be on our future Friday segment. So once again, thanks to all of you for spending your time watching Stay Curious. Until next time, I'm Mark Marquette saying I can't wait to see you again to bridge the space between us.